But yeah, that's pretty much on the topic. So next up, we're going to talk about the CSGO previews. So pretty much, guys, if you guys are wondering, so basically MDL finals on tonight. So remember those playoffs that I don't know, I didn't cast any playoffs actually, but there was playoffs casted on other channels as well. And we're going to get to that now. So we're going to get to the webcam channel. So we're going to go into here now. So it's basically the next part of it. I'm not sponsored by any of these guys, so let's just go with it. So it's going to be Force v Hafu, playing in about 4 hours and 44 minutes. So Hafu is from the lower bracket, as you can probably see here. I should zoom it in a bit. As you guys see here, that basically it's best of 5, with Force having a 1 round advantage for coming from the top brackets. So Force beats Spirit in the upper bracket to win the upper bracket final. This is the start of a good game if it's hard, but it's enjoyable. Then I happily get my butt whooped for an hour and a half on one boss. Yeah, I agree, 100%. With that comment. Like, Sekiro, like, even though I was getting frustrated, like, I enjoyed it. Like, I knew, like, it wasn't like Dark Souls where it's like, oh, God, if I didn't miss that roll, it would be fine. It was like, hey, I should have parried that. I would have nailed it. Like, I think if you guys were watching my Sekiro runs, I was like, oh, missed the parry. And, oh, stuff like that, Like, oh, I had power attack to the wrong time. Oh, didn't dodge that gorilla move when I should have. You definitely saw me like, I knew what I did wrong. And, it's probably like you guys would have, been cheering me on, going, come on, Joe, say, let's do it this time. And, like, definitely, like, I think it was Scorpion, if I was like, Pog, when I killed the, was it the Raven? No, it's the Owl. But, that's the, that's a cool thing. I think only Snooks and Reckless were here when I killed Sword Saint Ishin as well. And Snooks was like Pog Champ when I killed Sword Saint Ishin. So, pretty much, we'll talk about the game. So, Force v Hafu. So, Hafu's the Finnish team that, if you guys don't know, Rosie has a lot of dealings with Hafu. So, I'm going to click that so you can see it. So, Rosie has a lot of dealings with Hafu, and definitely I do support them in this. But I do enjoy Force as well, mainly because of XE Power and a few other guys like that as well. So it's going to be a best of 5. It's going to be in Dallas, Arlington, I believe. That's where the Global Challenge is. And that's where my mate Davey is at the moment. He's going to be desk host of this event. So the Europe Finals going to be up first at 1 a.m. I won't be on casting it. You can't cast it. Only English person is the ESEA. And I'm not going to be, casting it. It's going to be Wolfie and I think it's JRT. No, it's Vu. That's right. It's Vu from Vortex. Those guys are both really, really good casters. If you want to watch some CS and listen to it, definitely listen to this guy, Vu and Wolfie. They're definitely really, really good casters. I think I've rated Wolfie twice in the MDL competitions, and they're 100% really, really good. Let's talk about the game. So the game, basically, what I expect is probably expect Force to probably win this 3-1, unfortunately. Force have just got more map depth than Hafu. If Trade is picked by Hafu, they've got a chance, because Hafu are pretty good on Trade. And if Nuke is picked as well. And I'm not sure how the bans are going to go, so we're not going to, take on that first. Hafu did beat Spirit 2-1 to get to the final. Basically, Spirit came from the upper bracket and Hafu won 2-1 from the lower bracket. It was actually a bit of a surprise that Hafu even got into the grand final, because Hafu got knocked down to the lower bracket quite early and made a great lower bracket run on the back of Zori, their AWPer. Force have got XE Power and Jerry. Jerry's a very good IGL. I actually met him at DreamHack Winter as well. I met most of the Force boys at DreamHack Winter. So we're going to scroll down for the moment. We're going to get to the analysis, get past the betting. So here we go. There's Force, Face Crack, Jerry, XE Power, guy to watch out for. Almeza is a guy that's been having very, very good games lately as well. Almeza, I think last time we cast him on MDL and Japolino versus Force, he had an awful game. But this guy turned up at DreamHack Winter. Almeza turned up at DreamHack Winter big time. He had more, he had higher ADR than XE Power, their star player. Flit, very good flanker as well. He's one of the guys that gives a lot of wins with his holds and his flanks for Force. So let's go to Hafu here. So Hafu, they got Slowy, Zori, Doto, Hoodie, and Saw. Zori is the guy to watch out for. His duel between XE Power is going to be massive. XE Power and Zori are going to be massive duels to the Orbs. Whoever wins here, it will depend on how the riflers go, because the riflers are literally coin flip. But whoever wins out of AWPing may help their riflers win, give a bit of favoritism here. So what we got here is the maps. So basically, Hafu's, it's going to be very, very even, but I'm going to say right now, Train's probably going to get banned out. They're probably not going to let Hafu have Train. If Hafu somehow get Train in, it'll be Hafu will probably get at least one map. If they put in Dust and Mirage, I'm not sure if this is a misnomer for Hafu, but Hafu play a lot of Dust too. I expect that to be banned. Like, if Train's not banned, it'll be Dust 2 be banned. And then the Hafu, after you see the map pool, then Hafu's going to make do, with potential Inferno. And versing a CS team on Inferno is basically you're gonna lose because Force have played so much massive Inferno as you see here. Then they've got Nuke. Nuke will be probably a good pick for Hafu if they don't get what they need, as they both have won similar win percentages. But Hafu have dropped Nuke against teams that have lesser quality as well. So we'll check Overpass. I don't think Force or Hafu will pick Overpass. If it's going to be a leftover map, it'll be a leftover map. Vertigo, Force use this map very aggressively as their clutch pick. But it seems like Hafu's also been practicing Vertigo as well. So actually, no, I'll retract my prediction. I reckon it'll be 3-2. I remember you being on the Owl for ages. That boss was insanely hard. Yeah, it was. It's just you have to just quick dodges, and if you got the wrong things, you get punished. Sword Saint Ishin I was on for a while as well. Sword Saint Ishin was pretty difficult too. So I reckon with this preview, I reckon Hafu it'll be a 3-2 to Force or 3-1 to Force. If Hafu win this would be massive for Hafu to win this. Massive. I bet they're Cone and stuff before. Those guys are great blokes. If Hafu win this against ESL, this will be massive for the Finnish community, massive for the CSGO community, because ENCE is falling off massively. ENCE have no ESL Pro League position. ENCE are not even in advanced, because they didn't bother entering ESA again after losing MDL status. And I think ENCE went all in, and they dropped Alex EB and basically completely obliterated their lineup. It was never a power issue. It was always an IGL thing that they needed. And they went and recruited Sunny. I know from a friend of a friend that knows Sunny that Sunny's a great person, great player. I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to say he isn't. He's a great player. It's just for the team, he wasn't the right fit. And it's good that Sunny found a team, but he wasn't the right fit for that team. He could have gone to OG or another team like that would have fit him perfectly. Because Sunny's a great player, just not the RGL player that you need, basically. So I go through the past matches. So as I said before, it would be massive if Hafu win this and get an ESL Pro League spot, because it'll basically say, hey, the Finnish scene is actually actual business. So I go to the past 5. Hafu are in a good run of form. To be fair, beating Game of Legion though, given that Game of Legion were in that really bad rut. Like they were in a really bad rut when they got completely obliterated by VP. That might not seem so much. They lost to Spirit 0-2 to beat Nordovin. Nordovin's actually a good and up-and-coming team. I suspect them to be upper mid MDL. And they beat Agent 2-1 and SJ, their Finnish rivals, 2-0 as well. Force, they beat Trick 2-1 in the final. That's not an easy feat to do. They beat Godsend 2-1 as well. Godsend a pretty good team as well. They beat Furia 2-1. Furia have gone, dipped down a bit, so I'm not counting that one too much. They beat Marshalik, which was a team that was always going to get absolutely fucking destroyed. And they lost to Trick, I think it was in the second blast. I'm not sure which game it was, but they lost to Trick. Oh no, that's right. They lost to Trick at DreamHack Open 16-10. They got revenge on them later. So Hafu and Force have versed each other before, with Force winning 7 times and Hafu winning twice. So as you guys loving this heatwave, we're having it so fun, dude. It was a bit of a sauna today at the party, but it was awesome though. We had the mist stuff, not mist stuff, sorry. Basically, the aircon was going outside and cooling the outside at the same time. It was pretty awesome. So I'll say here, as you can see here, that Hafu have won quite recently in November, and it was on Dust 2 and Nuke. So this is why Dust 2 and Nuke's gonna get banned out. But, it's going to be a close game. Hopefully, Hafu win. But my brain's saying Force 3-2, Force 3-1, and Force will go to the ESL Pro League. However, Hafu, with the ESL Pro League, there's some weak teams in EU being relegated. So Hafu can easily find their way in the ESL Pro League. I don't doubt that for a second. So let's get to the next game, which will be Right Squad v Ince. So we'll get to them now. So we'll scroll back up. So this is Right Squad v Ince. As you guys may notice, these teams, I don't cast them that regularly. So these guys are the American team. So Right Squad's got all the young guns, Crashy, John G, and a few others. If you guys don't know the NAC that much, I'll just educate you guys. Ince used to be KNGV's ex-team, but they've still got some very, very decent players. So KNG is a very, very talented AWPer who basically almost ruined his own career by literally... Oh, I should switch to CSGO actually. Be right back 2 seconds. I'll put it back here before we switch to CSGO. But pretty much he ruined his own career by well, not ruined his own career, but almost put a stop to it by so what he did was that he sent a very, very abusive message to FNS, basically. FNS is one of the players in an NA scene, saying that he should watch out, and if he says that again, he should come to Brazil, and he'd be they basically threatened him basically. And it was pretty disgusting, basically. And he got think he got kicked off the team of Mortals at the time because of it. And like I think FNS made a comment that they look all hungover, looked like they've been partying the previous night, and like he just literally threatened his family and stuff like that, FNS's family, and it was pretty bad. So anyways, got Riot Squad here. Riot Squad coming up from the upper bracket with the map advantage. So it's got PTR, Mitch, probably the more experienced players on the team, and it's got and FNS, and it's Crashies and Jonji versus the Brazilian guys and Ints, Cello, Xand, Yell, SHZ, a new guy to the team, and Bolts. So Bolts definitely more experienced here. He's probably the IGL as well. Bolts has played in many teams, played for Luminosity Gaming as well, as you guys can see in his shirt here. So I'll say the Bright Squad will be the favourites, given that Crashies and Jonji are very good young talents, and they've got a good IGL and FNS here. FNS gets blamed a lot for teams falling apart, but I think it's mainly because of FNS's in-game ability, not his in-game leadership. FNS's leadership's pretty sound. It's just his ability to frag and stuff like that. I've seen FNS go like ham on kills before, and that's when his team wins quite easily because FNS's RG ability is very good. PTR to Orpa, very solid. Mitch is pretty solid as well as a rifler. So let's go to the map stats. So Riot Squad, they're a bit of disadvantage here. So that early default will give him the win. Like give him a win condition. They can probably play Inferno, Dust 2, or Overpass. Suspect Overpass will be picked and Vertigo to be banned out. So go to the last games. So just for fun, they beat Wardell's team 2-0. That's massive. Wardell's team was literally knocking out some pro teams very easily in the IEM Katowice qualifiers. And Inns beat the New England Whalers, which is an advanced team. Nothing too big as per se, but they won it 2-0. They beat Steelers team 16-6 in the qualifiers and Rap Gang 16-5. They lost to VP 2-0. I'm not sure what tournament that was. I think that was at an elimination tournament. They got completely destroyed by VP. It's probably not a good sign. They lost to Crazy 16-12. In the MDL, Riot Squad have beat them twice, 16-12 to 16-7, and Ints only beat them once. And now with Riot Squad, they've won all their series. They've even beaten Steel's team 2-0. They've beaten Ints 2-0, and Ints came from the lower bracket, essentially. So pretty much what I think will happen is a Riot Squad will win this 3-1. Even with the map disadvantage, they'll win 3-1. Like, the map disadvantage being like the map pool they have, 3 maps that are good at with the win rate, as per se. And they'll probably win 3-1. And Riot Squad will get the ESL spot. As they should. Riot Squad are definitely a team that should be in the ESL Pro League. Like, they're on the cusp of it. They're like ATK and Singularity. Like, they're the teams just on the border of it. They're there as well. And whoever gets into relegation, which will be into a few other teams, they'll have a kind of a hard time trying to get an ESL Pro League position. And given that the relegation teams are actually fairly decent. They're not, they're not easy beats. They're actually fairly decent, the NA teams of relegation this year. So next up, what we're going to talk about is the results. You guys will actually be a bit surprised about this. I'm surprised about this as well. So we're going to go results for the Summit. So basically, CS Summit here. So CS Summit, if you guys don't know what CS Summit is, it's basically a tournament where the casters can have more personal and engaging conversation with their audience. And there's been a lot of people complaining like, hang on, this is not a professional caster. Why am I watching this shit? It's like, it's meant to just give a human side to the casters, okay? And what they are and what they do and what they believe the world to be, essentially. And like, basically it's casters having, a chat while CSGO's game going on and inviting the chat to have a discussion as well. Before we go on to the Summit, who do you guys think are going to win the EU and AU MDL Grand Finals? Oh, EU and NA, sorry. EU and NA. Do you guys think that, Harvu could sneak a win in? Or maybe, Ints could just sweep him 3-1? What do you guys feel about in chat? Like, who would win those series? Unfortunately, I won't be casting either of those series as it's just reserved to ESEA. After those series as well, it'll be the Global Challenge. And I'll probably do something like that. Hey, Lag, what's up, man? We were talking about the EU and NA MDLs. Who would win those? Well, what do you think? Who would win those, man? The NA and EU MDLs? Because I can't cast, I'm just giving a preview, basically. And I haven't been told off for giving a preview, I don't think. Let's check that now. No, I haven't been told off for giving a preview. I haven't been able to watch CS Summit 5 yet. I want to watch OG. They didn't perform very well yesterday, actually. They were a bit of a bummer yesterday. They got cleaned up by Mouse Sports. Can you repeat the question? Who do you think will win the EU MDL and the NA MDL? The finals. They're on tonight. They're on today, I mean. Oh, no, they're on tonight. Half is in about 4 hours and 30 minutes. Half v Force, and the other one's Riot Squad v Ints. What do you think? Because I've got Force winning 3-2 or 3-1 against Hafu, and Riot Squad winning 3-0 over Ints. Force will win over Hafu. Considering you've been getting over 700 viewers, you consider a true broadcaster. To be fair, though, I'm casting games where I'm the only caster in English. But yes, definitely. I'd say I can give you that. Like, I give you that mainly because I get up at 4 a.m. and I stay up at 1 a.m. Like, I've realized that. So I put myself down. That was silly of me. That I woke up at 4 a.m. just to cast a game. You know, I got rededicated to it. Because I'm like, I saw Richard Lewis. Like, Richard Lewis said, you know, you always see... He said basically, because I DM'd him saying, you know, that really drove me to cast more at, like, different times and set alarms and stuff like that. He's like, every time I woke up, every time I was watching Anders would be casting a CSGO game. I'm saying, like, you know, that inspired me to go and cast that 4 a.m. relegation game. Get that early sleep in, come on at 4 a.m., bam, get that relegation in. I would have casted none of those relegation games. Because I'd been like, oh, God, it's 1 a.m., 4 a.m., go away. I think Ints will win over Riot Squad, but it's difficult since both teams have got some internal issues at the moment. But Riot Squad seems a bit better than I expected. Riot Squad are one of those teams that should have been in the ESL Pro League. They're on the cusp of it. Because, you know, they're like around that, they're around about that singularity in 80k, you know, tier. They're the unlucky team that didn't get put up, basically. But, you know, I can understand. And I'm quite a good caster. I got angry at two people yesterday I shouldn't got angry about on the VP game, where Snatchy got a really good 4K, and I didn't seem that hyped up about it. And yeah, I should have got really hyped about it, because Snatchy got a 4K, and it was a really good 4K. It reminded me of James from Restrooms previously as well. Doesn't Riot Squad have two free players of ordinary jobs? You can get some leave as well. I think you do an amazing job considering you haven't been doing it for long. Yeah, true. But, you know, everyone has ordinary jobs, man. I'll tell you now, Lag, man. I think it's only the EU scene where they don't have ordinary jobs, I would say. Because in Australia, they have jobs as well. And in NA, I'd assume they have jobs as well. The orgs aren't going to pay, you know, hand over fist for CSGO players that don't win much money. Considering, like, most of the 20s, like the 20s that, you know, like LootBet, for example, they're in the EU and you can win some money out of it. If you know, you get my thing? You know, the orgs aren't going to pay a salary if they're not competing in tournaments where they can win money. And also the EU seems more like the CSGO teams are treated as celebrities. Well, Riot Squad also needs some money for the legal issues and Sue thing. I've never heard of that. What? Tell me about that. I actually never heard about it. I've heard whispers of it, but I've never actually heard about it. Because I don't cast NA that much. So, like, I do know some of the NA coaches, like, Riot Games sued Riot Squad. Oh, really? For what, trademark? I think that's going to be kind of hard, to be honest, given that Riot's a generic term. Yeah, it's going to be very hard to sue, given it's a generic term. But they need the money, though, and Riot Games is going to play the good old cash strain card. Personally, for me, I don't see the case for it. You can argue that Riot is generic, but I'm not a legal expert, so, you know, they can probably argue that. The weird thing is that Riot Games have pretty sure that play in their favor, they should lose. Yeah. It's too, like, with trademarks, when I did trademark law, if your trademark's too generic, like the word riot, for example, you don't get a pass. It's just, it doesn't matter. Your trademark doesn't matter, as per se. If they're trademarking their name, which I think they are, the name Riot Games. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. You know, there's a lot of internal dramas, and that can definitely affect the psyches of both teams as well, as Lag suggests. He suggested earlier that both have internal issues that do affect the players. Like, for example, like when Avant played in the ESL Australia Pro League and they played really badly, it was because the abuse from the Australian scene that Avant had apparently delayed all those games and made those teams play at that date, even though it was the upper management that made that decision. Will Ints even have 5 players tonight? I hope so. If they don't, then they have to forfeit it. Or, wait, do they all have visas? Wait, no, surely ESCA would have organised that. That's not good if they don't. Like, that's not good at all for the game if they don't. Because that would be really bad to have a forfeit in an NA Grand Final. Visa isn't an issue, but the contracts and the roster might have changed recently, or they do it after Globals. I think they're going to do it after Globals, definitely. Because it's just more of a convenience kind of thing. Be like, okay, we'll do the new contract after Globals. It's like what Mantu did when he played for alternate attacks with the OG, like before OG. Like even though his contract is OG, he could still play in the relegations and stuff like that. But they withdrew in he could still play in advanced. I mean, but in the relegations he couldn't play because OG did go for a spot but never got it. So, anyways, enough about the MDL. That's good. There's going to be some exciting BO5s tonight, and then the global challenge will be on the next day. Is it say that Mantu was outed before the semi-finals? Oh yeah. Uh, they could. To be fair, their alternate attacks couldn't really do much because OG would apply an ECA regardless. Like to be legit, man, they would apply an ECA regardless, and that would force Mantu out. Alternate attacks got so close, by the way. They could have. I reckon alternate attacks could have got. If they didn't surrender all their games or withdrew, they could have got that MDL spot because they were versing Gamer Legion in lower bracket, who were so out of form it wasn't even funny. Like they played the absolute worst game against VP, and VP played the absolute best game as well. It really blowed for Gamer Legion. They got the MDL spot. That's a good thing that they did, even though they played the absolute worst game, the best of 3 before. Game of Legion. I'm gonna dispel that rumor, lag. Okay, dispel that rumor. Okay, dispel that rumor very shortly. Okay. So let's get to the summit. Okay, they nearly lost the fate. They did, but they got it done. That's the main thing between teams that are playing poorly and teams that get it done. You can play poorly and get it done, and that's what Game of Legion did. And they've now got Freddie B in their side because they can tell DJL you can go back to the coach role because Freddie B is no longer roster locked. So they got it done at least. That's what they did. They I was going to say now, I don't expect great things with DJL in the lineup, but they maintained their position. Same can't be said about some of the other MDL teams like Pact, for example, who lost their MDL position as well. And, Japolino basically dumpstered them effectively, put them into relegation and got them relegated. But Pact will be back. Pact will definitely be back. Anyway, let's go with the CS Summit. So here's the results. G2 beat MRBR 16-3, and MRB won their pick on Vertigo 16-11. G2 beat Fury on both maps. Fury have really gone off a cliff at the moment. So we go VP. VP beat Fury 16-5 on Nuke. And what I'm going to say now, I think VP have literally got a fire lit up on their ass because that's a big, big defeat of Furia. And Furia is probably a team that's on the level of Gamer Legion. And this is why I think that if Gamer Legion were playing badly, yes, but VP are playing very, very well at the moment. They're playing extremely well. They lost to Furious map pick of Mirage. They beat Mouse Sports on Vertigo. That's another fucking big win as well. And that's why I think VP, ever since they heard the rumors about Vanguard, VP acquiring a Vanguard roster, they've been playing to look for an org. Okay, that's what I feel they've been doing. They've been playing saying, we literally got salaries on the line. We've got money on the line. The desperation, the adrenaline is in. Because that's how I feel like it was. Before when they were on VP and they, had no issues or VP going to drop them, they were just playing, casually. Now they've got, something to play for. There's something on the line there. And that's why I feel like VP are playing a lot better. They still need a lot of practice on Mirage, 100%, as you can see there with the Mirage scores. OG lost both against Mouse Sports. Mouse Sports is in a quite a big run of form at the moment. And that's what you got to look out for, I reckon VP might be a team to look out for this MDL coming up, given that they got back into MDL so convincingly and they're putting up against these teams in Summit quite convincingly as well. We go to Blast. So Liquid lost 2-0 to Astralis. Nothing new, something borrowed, something blue. MP using NATO as a standard for Woxic due to Woxic being to be fair, Mousesports didn't really have a choice. Actually, I should have mentioned that Mousesports were using NATO Sapphics as a stand-in as well. So probably that Mousesports win isn't as big as it could have been. But VP taking down Furia in that convincing fashion probably VP playing well. I do say that Game Evolution played poorly because they did. Did you read Woxic's tweet about it? No, I haven't read it. Standard for Woxic due to Woxic being a bit silly? Okay, I should probably read it later. I thought Woxic had visa issues. I was just assuming visa issues. Good old visa issues, Yeah, they always crop up, okay? There's always visa issues. Have you got any of those visa issues, mate? Because that's always happens. So next one we got Blast So it's going to be Liquid v Astralis 2-0 for Astralis. So easy for Astralis, by the way. And Nip 2-0 FaZe. That's a big, big upset. Yeah, that's Woxic's bad, okay? It's not a visa issue, it's a problem between hand, pen, and paper issue. So anyway, we'll go here. We'll see there that Astralis beat Liquid 2-0. Liquid were not good. Nip beat FaZe 2-0. Nip were very good. I actually enjoy that Rez actually, I think, let's just open up the series. Let's open up FaZe via Nip. And I think Rez was really good. No, it was Forrest that was really good, that's right. Forrest was amazing. Cold Zit, like, look at this, okay? FaZe not doing so well. Forrest and Rez, absolute stalwart. Unstoppable. And, FaZe, they're falling apart. Blast is a joke, though. I can understand TOs not liking certain people not liking certain tournaments. Blast is probably trying to improve itself a lot better. Of course, I didn't like the BO1s, like the BO1, 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 BO3 final. It pretty much was just, I don't know, ESL Pro League games with just a best of 3 at the end. It wasn't, exactly what would you say? Not exactly like good CS per se. It was just really coin flip, given what map was picked and left over, given after the bans. And I do understand that criticism. I do agree with that criticism. I feel we could have done some more best of 3s. I'd probably even give that feedback to the tournament. I'd be like, guys, I feel like we need some BO3s because BO3s really test the mettle of teams and their maps as they get to pick a map. It isn't, we'll go play Inferno because that was left over. Or we go play Train since that was left over and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's go to the next game, which will be Epicenter. So basically, guys, if you guys didn't hear about it earlier, I talked about giving a list that approved event. He promised to do something for Muscat. Now we're here. Nothing has changed except for the global final. Yeah, this is the silly thing about it is that they go like some of the TOs like, I know better than the fans. It's like, dude, I think the pro players even told you. Like the pro players don't care. They probably have it as a holiday. But you need the BO freeze. You need the BO freeze at least in the decided games where you get eliminated basically. But to be fair though, it is a round robin, so it's a group stage, so you can't have BO freeze in a round robin either. Where it's only one group, and you have more than four teams, of course. You have 6 teams, I believe. I did enjoy the shoot-off event. What's it called again? That where third place got to pick a team and verse them in 1v1 duels. That's an interesting little concept. It's a kind of hit and giggle kind of thing, like a new game style as per se. It's a innovation. It's probably something to do for fun or expedition. I kind of like that aspect as an expedition factor. But for the competitive factor, yeah, the BO1s need to be dropped. Okay? It has to be BO freeze. Like, basically, let's just say, the winners versus each other, then the worst winner versus the best loser, and then basically work like that. And then when a team, about to lose their third game, you have the side events, the BO freeze, essentially. So let's go to Epicenter. So Epicenter is basically there's a lot of tournaments coming towards the end of season. There's also DreamHack Open Sevilla on at the moment as well. So we got Evil Geniuses, Mouse Sports, Vitality, and Navi are all invited to this event as well as a Vanguard. Force qualifying through the qualifiers for CIS, Heroic through Europe, and eHome through China. We scroll down to get the teams so you guys can see it. So I suspect that basically. The group stage, basically one team gets eliminated. I'm very sure eHome's definitely going home. They're going to group with Heroic, Navi, and Vitality. They are not going to beat any of those teams. Because, unless they can do something upset like Vitality or Heroic or something like that, I suspect them to go 0-3. Okay? With Vitality, with Navi, they'll go 3-0. And Vitality and Heroic are definitely a coin flip, given that Vitality's poor run of form, where they literally got pantsed by, Renegades, 100 Thieves on Inferno. Not looking so great. For the second group, Vanguard, Evil Geniuses, Force, and Mouse Sports. Each team might not go to Epicenter. Okay. Might not, okay. This is a weird one. This is a weird one. I feel sorry for Force. But, it's still working. It's either going to be Force or Vanguard. They're going to go 0-3. To be completely honest, it's going to be a Vanguard or Force to go 0-3. I reckon Force are just that bit better than a Vanguard. Okay, just that bit better. I reckon Force will sneak in third place. Evil Genius's Mouse Sports can be pretty hard to beat. If Woxic doesn't have his visa, I reckon Mouse Sports can even go third as well. Force could beat them as well, especially if they don't have Woxic, because Force is really built around XE power, okay? And if XE power is not being challenged, it's going to end very, very poorly for the teams. Because, for example, EG and Vanguard have that, solution to the XE power problem with Jame and EG is having way better team. Oh no, EG is Cirque, that's right. EG is Cirque. And you need that answer to XE power if you want to win against Force. Woxy will play Epicenter. It was the American visa he got to apply for. He got the visa to Russia. Okay, yeah. So, Mouse Sports should be probably locking for second. To win the tournament, though, not terribly sure he'll win the tournament. I reckon it's either going to be between Navi, Mouse Sports, and Evil Geniuses. G'day, Snooks. What's up, man? So it's going to be between those three teams, I feel. Navi, Mouse Sports, or Evil Geniuses. I don't expect Vanguard, Force, or Vitality to be anywhere near it. And E-Home probably going to go home a bit early. I don't think they have really much of a chance here, unfortunately. So, that's going to be pretty much it for the MDLs and stuff like that. Enough discussion about that. So we're probably going to go into some, let's see what we've got now. Probably some, what time is it actually? 8:45? Probably more into some mount runs, I guess. Should we play some Jackbox? Actually, you know what? We can play some CSGO